So let's start with a brief introduction. Would you mind introducing yourself to the audience at home?
Yes, sir. So, hello everyone. My name is Meshullam Khonglam, and I hail from the beautiful hill state of Meghalaya, Shillong. I recently cleared the Indian School Certificate examination and I secured 96% in this exam. Besides academics, I am deeply passionate about music, literature, baking, public speaking, and leadership activities. Singing has always been my passion, and I have had the opportunity to participate in various competitions and performances. So, yes, sir.
That's very great. So basically, you're on here for the interview since you scored really high on three subjects. That is political science, psychology, and sociology. Do you
Yes,
mind
sir.
sharing your marks? How much did you exactly score in those subjects?
Okay, sir. I scored 97 in sociology, 98 in psychology, and 99 in political science.
Okay, so three humanities subjects in the high 90s. That's totally not a fluke. That's a proper system. I'm sure that you put in a lot of blood and sweat into getting those marks. So, what was
Yes.
the common thread across how you approached all three? Is there at least a common point for all the students who do have that subject combination?
Uh, for me personally, I would say consistency is key. Because my preparation started right from the very beginning of my class 11 and 12 journey. I would spend at least 1 hour, after I come back from school to sit and recapitulate what was taught in class. And of course, before the exam, more effort is needed. And like I had mentioned before, that I usually get myself involved in various co-curricular activities as well, be it in school or outside. So I feel like balancing, between academics and co-curricular activities was also one of the steps that I had taken during my preparation phase. So consistency is key, I must say, and one must be very, very disciplined, time management, and before the examination, of course, solving previous year's question paper is very important. Developing the habit of writing is also very crucial. So I would say that these are some of the common threads that I had taken during my preparation phase.
Yeah. How did you use the ISC Guide platform overall to study psychology and sociology? Did you just study from my notes, my papers, my videos?
Yes, despite the lessons that I had gained, in my from my school, from my teachers, the additional sources that I received from the ISC guide has also impacted my preparation a lot, and the notes that I received, they were really handful. So I take this opportunity to express my gratitude to the ISC guide for for giving and for providing us with these resources, which are which were very, very helpful, at least to me, and I'm sure it has really helped lots of students as well. So yes, I'm truly grateful, sir.
Okay, thank you so much for your support. And political science, that is not something I teach, and I'm at least vaguely sure that there is no other teacher on YouTube teaching political science in its entirety as of right now. Am I right? Or is there another creator that you studied political science from?
Sir, political science was mainly self-study, sir.
Okay, so how did you go about that? What were, do you have any tricks that you would like to share with the students? What was your thought process self-studying political science?
Uh, for me personally, right from school, we had a very good political science teacher. In fact, I would give my credit to her. She's Miss Hazel Karumno, so shout out to her. Her lessons in class really helped me a lot. I would really recommend. Encourage the students to never underestimate the power of listening to lectures in class as well, because it has really helped me a lot, especially with regards to political science and, of course, the other subjects as well. And like I had mentioned before, coming back from school, you open your textbooks, you just go through what was taught in class, and the practicing, the habit of writing. Yeah, and for me, I personally, I also update myself with current affairs, the events that happened in society, that takes place in the society, and these has really helped me in my overall preparation. And of course, for political science, more conceptual clarity is needed. Understanding the technical terms, the keywords is very crucial, very important. So that was my approach for political science specifically. So,
All right. So you mentioned buying my success papers. Which subjects did you buy them for?
sir, for sociology and psychology, sir.
Oh, all right, both of them. So how did you
Yes.
use them in your prep? Was it along with the PYQs, or was it
Yes.
independent study with just the sample papers?
Yes, sir. The success papers were really helpful, sir, and they really impacted my preparation. Uh, for sociology and psychology specifically, it really helped me understand the board pattern of the question paper, and I was able to, somehow prepare myself with on how to answer during the exam. So they really helped me in that way. So I could really understand the structure and how questions, what kind of questions that I would expect during that time. So yes.
And I'm so happy those papers helped you out. And you have three almost diverse subjects, I'd say. While they are all a part of humanities, I'd say that they cover very different aspects of humanities: political science, psychology, and sociology. So which one of these was more easier to study from? Which one was a bit more difficult? What were the hardships that you faced basically studying these three subjects in this particular combination?
Uh, so for me personally, I feel like all three subjects demanded equal attention. For psychology, more conceptual clarity and technical precision was needed, and for sociology, a more analytical interpretation of society was needed, and like I mentioned before, for political science as well. So my approach for these three subjects differed according to the nature of the subjects.
All right, and how did you go about writing these answers? Because scoring, I believe, even above 90 in ISC, since we have the application based questions now, the
Yes,
way you write answers is also very important along with the
yes,
content that you write. So how did you
yes.
go about that? What advice do you have for the students?
Uh, I would advise every student to always write your answer in the pattern of where you begin with an introduction, and then you have a body and a conclusion. Uh, Also, I would really recommend to practice PYQs, and as mentioned earlier, that the council this year has introduced competency based questions, or competency focused questions. So I feel like more than mugging up concepts, understanding the concept is way more important. So when it comes to answer writing, I also believe that, as Shakespeare himself remarked, brevity is the soul of the wit. So I was very brief, but also straight to the point when it comes to my answer. Uh, so uh, So, if the question asked about, suppose a particular topic on, let's say, marriage, I would just give first the definition of marriage, and then I would go about explaining the features of marriage. And as much as possible, I was very brief with my answers, but then straight to the point. And I had also mentioned the keywords, and I had also make it a point to underline the keywords to make it easier for the examiners while evaluating the papers. So,
Right. Very well put. So accuracy matters a lot, right? That's
yeah, right, sorry. Yes, sir.
right. So there will be a lot of students watching this, and they will be taking at least one of the subjects that you've scored so high in. So without a strong external resource, right? So maybe political science, you don't have a proper resource for it. So what's your honest advice if somebody does have to self study, not only political science, maybe if they are studying history too, right? So basically, how should one go about self studying a subject in a board like ISC, which demands a lot from you? Is it still
Yes.
just listening to your teachers, or is there something you have to put in from your side too?
Yes, of course. Efforts is also needed from oneself. So, like I said, you can never leave things to the last minute. And one must begin with their preparation right from the beginning of their class 11 or 12 journey, because leaving things to the last minute will not help in any way, at least according to me. Um, uh, Again, consistency is key. You must be very, very thorough with your texts, and make sure that you understand the concepts and not just rote learning, like they say. So, for me personally, I would say that conceptual clarity is very, very important. Even though if you don't have any other external resources.
Okay. This year, at least, psychology was on 12th, and then we had 13th grammar, and then 16th was literature. So, three major papers back to back for most students. So, how did you cope with that pressure, having so many papers smushed together in your schedule?
So first and foremost, I try not to panic, or I try not to stress myself too much sometimes. And after long study sessions, I take a break, let's say a 20 minutes, sometimes even a 1 hour or a 2 hour breaks. uh, I go out for a walk, or maybe I engage myself in my hobbies, be it singing or baking. So I try to not pressure myself so much, because like I said, I trusted my preparation right from the very beginning of the year. So, so when the time for the examination also approached, I did not really have much difficulty when it comes to that. So.
Okay, and has it ever happened to you that maybe you're sitting in an exam, you get the question paper, and you found out that maybe you do not know the answers to one or two questions? So, how would you go about that? At least trying to salvage some marks. Let's say there's a
Most
seven marker
definitely.
and you forgot to study that particular topic. So, how would you go about that? What would be your thought process?
Yes, sir. So number one, try not to panic. And my teachers in school had always advised me not to leave even a single question, because even if you write, let's say, 4 to 5 sentences, you will gain some marks. So my teachers had always advised me to do that. And I try to, in case I do not know the specific answer towards a particular question, I try to recall some, concepts related to that question, or related to that topic, or maybe some examples, and I try to incorporate them in my answers. And that's how I go about it.
So, all students should at least write something rather than leaving it
Yes,
blank.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Right.
sir.
I totally agree.
Yes,
And
sir.
you had 97, 98, 99. All of these marks were so close to 100. So do you
Yes, sir.
regret not being able to get to that 100 mark, or are you still grateful?
Uh, I'm sure every student dreams, to score a perfect score. Uh, but then for me personally, I'm grateful for what I've achieved. In fact, I take this as a lesson because for me personally, I think I lost those 1 or 2 marks in the MCQs because I was a bit careless with them. I didn't really read the question carefully. I was in a hurry to write my descriptive answers, so that was one mistake that I made during the examination. And this was a lesson for me. So uh, overall, I'm very grateful for what I've achieved, sir.
That's great. If you could go back in time, maybe to the start of 11th, what advice would you give to your younger self just starting out on their ISC journey?
uh, so I would say that never doubt yourself, and to always be consistent, be disciplined, and remain focused. And at the same time, you enjoy your high school days as well, sir.
Right, that's very well put. And you said that you had just given your CUET paper today, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So how did you balance CUET and boards together? Because many people will be doing that, I'm sure. So
Yes,
do you
sir.
have any advice for students who are giving CUET?
Yes, sir. As an ISC student, I must say that uh, preparing for both CUET and the ISC examination was quite challenging because the approach to both examination are quite different. Uh, for the ISC, it is mainly descriptive and mainly according to the ISC syllabus. But when it comes to CUET, it is more NCRT based oriented and also MCQ oriented. So uh, for me personally, I had to put in extra effort to read the NCRT text. So for ISC students, I must say that uh, it will be a bit challenging because you'll have to go through the NCRT text as well. So I would strongly advise my fellow students to start with the preparation right from the very beginning, so that you won't have to face with these burdens at the end.
Okay. What was your biggest mistake in grade 12?
So my biggest mistake in grade 12, I would say that sometimes I get distracted a lot when it comes to social media. So, but then later on, I realized that the importance of uh, you know I realized that class 12 was the main was like a foundation for me to in order for me to pursue even higher studies. So instead of using social media in in ways that will not benefit me, or in unproductive ways, I learn how to use it in a more productive way. So yes, I feel like that was one of my biggest mistakes.
Yeah. If I may, what are you planning to pursue after your grade 12? Have you already taken admission into a university or a college? Are you planning to go abroad? Is it still in India?
Yes, sir, I will continue with my studies in India, and I will be pursuing political science, a BA in political science. And I hope that in the future I will be able to clear various competitive exams, sir.
Right, that's great. All the best to you for everything.
Thank you so much, sir.
And just one final question. This is completely up to you. No question from my side. But if there is one advice that you could give to your juniors, what would that be?
So, my advice is uh, balancing between, your outside life and your academics is very important. You know, enjoy your high school days. Live each and every moment, but at the same time, remain focused and remain consistent. So that is my advice, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You've been brilliant to talk to. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for
much, sir.
volunteering your time. I'm sure all the juniors will really appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you
Thank you
so much
so
for
much,
taking
sir.
out your
Thank
time.
you so much for this platform and opportunity, sir, for me to share this experience. I am truly grateful. Thank you so much.